And what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Noel with Blue Realty. Today I got a special video and a special guest. I have a good friend of mine, Jared. I'll let him introduce himself in a second. First of all, if you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe, like, comment below for future content. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the market crash. Is it a perfect time to buy? The bubble, and just so much today. So I thought doing something different with this video as far as an interview style, instead of just giving a realtor's point of view, I thought I'd give a lender's point of view. So Jared, please take your time to introduce yourself, give a little bit about who you work for, location, how long you've been in the business.
Absolutely. So my name is Jared Campbell. I work with the Epic Mortgage team with Fairway Mortgage here in the Fort Lauderdale office. I've been a loan officer for a little over a year and a half now, and I truly love it. Working with you and working with other realtors here in the South Florida area has just been a true pleasure, and I truly appreciate you having me here today.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate your time. We did a video together about a month ago, I want to say. Amazing feedback. Like I said, it's good to do videos different like this. Most YouTubers talk about this topic, but they never have a lender or either investors. They don't really have a lender who they deal with to go over this. So I thought we stand out the box a little bit, do something different. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. As we know, this is a crazy market here in South Florida. Rent is about 40% up. And a lot of people are being discouraged with the prices from out-of-town buyers. Everybody's waiting for the market to crash. So my two questions to you are, do you think the market is going to crash? And is it still the perfect time to buy for home buyers?
So first off, in regards to the market crashing, what happened in the past, in 2008 especially, with the market crashing, no one had equity in their properties.
Right.
Today, everybody has equity in their properties. So that makes it significantly more difficult for any crash to happen. Yes, interest rates are going up, but inflation is also going up. Inflation is over 9% right now, where interest rates have only gone up maybe 2% since, the historic lows that we were at in the 3% range. So you're still going to see an increase in equity in your property. And basically, the only way you're going to generate wealth in the United States in the easiest way is by getting real estate. So always go out there and buy. Just because interest rates have gone up, 2%, it's maybe $200, $300 a month. But rent has gone up significantly more, and you're building zero equity with rent.
Agree. And like we said, 40% Miami was ranked #1 last year. Still to this day, I did 2 last-minute listings turned into rentals, and I have multiple offers. People have been putting in 4 to 6 months just to get their offer accepted. So my best advice, I always tell people, still buy, regardless of the interest rates going up. You're still saving money in the long run over renting month by month. So I'm glad you touched on what happened in 2008. I remember back in those days, I was working for the airline, so I didn't really know too much about that. I was a kid playing video games. But could you educate people a little bit about 2008, excuse me, compared to today? Because like you said, they didn't have equity, but people think it's still the same thing, and they're coming from my generation that probably didn't pay attention to that as well. So can you give like a little background to that and compare it to this market?
100%. So 2008, you were able to get a loan with stated income. Stated income is literally me writing down my income on a piece of paper and sending it off to the loan officer, and they're taking that as word and stating that as my income. Secondly, you could do a lot of interest-only loan programs. So that being said, you qualify for a mortgage at $2,000 a month. 3 years down the road, after you expire on your interest only, it jumps up to $4,500 to $5,000 a month. So there was a lot of differences in that market compared to today's market, because mainly you're going to do a conventional loan, 30-year fixed, as well as your loan approval process is significantly different. We truly go based off of all the guidelines through Fannie and Freddie on conventional loans, and we make sure you're 100% qualified for that property in order to give you even a pre-approval letter to even get your offer accepted. So the major difference is definitely the loan application process and the pre-approval compared to the previous, compared to today, as well as the equity. If you don't have equity in a property and something shoots up from 100,000 to 300,000 overnight, but if God forbid the market crashes, that equity is still going to be in that property, especially in today's market, because people are going to still need to buy because there's no inventory and there's still a significant amount of buyers. So we're not manifesting buyers like we did in the past. These are true individuals wanting to buy a home that want to go out there and purchase. So supply and demand is always going to supersede any of these market crashes that people are talking about, because at the end of the day, there's tons of buyers and not enough properties.
Agree. And I remember when I first started real estate about 3 years ago. Quick story. First client ever. I was actually showing a property when I guess the world decided to do a 360, and Chase was the first company that sent out a letter pretty much that went viral that for first time home buyers it was no longer 580, it was 700. And the lender at that time called me after I finished showing the property. He's like, look, your guy has 660. We were 580 originally, now we're 640. And that was pretty much most standard for most places, whether you go through a bank, a credit union, or a lender. They all increase their for first time home buyer rates from a 580 to a 640 score, excuse me. So I definitely agree on that. What is your best advice right now for a first time home buyer? I know a lot of people have this mindset that they want a top dollar home, but what they qualify for is different. So, do you recommend them just buying any property for the time being? Because, like we both said, it is way cheaper still renting, buying than renting in the long run. Do you recommend just doing that or just holding off like most buyers want to do?
I mean, the most important thing is for you to be comfortable. I mean,
Agree.
if you're comfortable living in maybe a condo rather than a townhouse because all you can afford is a condo, and you're okay with that, and that's all you can afford, go for it. Because at least you can live there for 3 to 5 years, build equity, sell that property, and then move up to the townhouse or the single family home that you're truly desiring. So it's going to be what you're comfortable with. Just because you can't afford a $500,000 house today doesn't mean you can't 4 or 5 years from now. But you could have rented for 5 years, generated zero equity, and then not have the down payment and closing costs needed on that property 5 years from now, even though your income is there. If you're going to be able to buy a condo or a townhouse now because you can afford it, you're going to build all that equity, either rent it out, it's called house hacking. You can rent that property out, start to build your portfolio, and then buy another property in the future and just continue that down the road. So just because you can't afford your dream home today doesn't mean you can't settle for a condo or a townhouse, right? Understanding that you're going to build that equity. It's everything that you could look at is equity, because someone can't take that away from you. You know, that home value is everything, and you can always pull money from it on a home equity line of credit, or just sell it in the near future for, you know, more funds for your new home. So if you can afford it and you can qualify for something and you're not concerned about the size and being super bougie, go for it.
I agree. No, definitely agree. I tell that to a lot of buyers, especially in this market now. I personally think that's the best thing to do. Like you said, you gain equity, and people always thinking right now, and I tell them, you always got to think about long term. Yes, you may have a job, but are you planning to be there for long? You might have a retirement account. A home to some people is an asset. Some people it's really a liability. To each his own. But at the end of the day, you really have to think long term. And studies have shown, even to statistics, that the average person moves within 5 to 7 years and at least 3 times of their lifetime before they get that dream home of theirs. And you know, the more money you make, the more your expenses go up for most people. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. So before we wrap this up, because I don't want to take too longer of your time and this as well, what is one of the advice you could give somebody that's still scared to just pull the trigger and just say, hell with it, I'm going to do it? What advice you could leave us with today?
I mean, my number one advice I talk to all first-time home buyers or individuals that are truly considering buying a home is just to make sure that the home monthly payment is affordable for you and your family. Because just because you can afford a $400,000 or $500,000 mortgage doesn't mean the monthly payment is going to be something you're comfortable with. So being house poor doesn't always benefit you in the long run, because if something breaks on the house or something, there's, a certain situation where you have to pull, $10,000, $5,000 out, you don't have it because you're spending every penny on the mortgage. That's one thing. So just make sure you're comfortable with the monthly payment just as much as you are with the home itself. That would be my personal advice.
And I laugh because that was literally my advice I was about to say just now before. That's the best advice I tell people too. Don't just focus on, all right, I got pre-approved for $500,000 or 600K. I want to get a single family home. You got to think of long term. I'm a long term thinker, not just short term as well. If the roof breaks down, AC, do you have money you could pull out right off the back, or do you have enough credit to support another credit card or personal loan to actually afford that? That's why I usually recommend for first time home buyers, start small, whether it's a condo, townhouse, villa. Learn the ropes of being a homeowner as far as the benefits of taxes, things to write off to help you out, what you're going to deal with, because there's no such thing as a perfect home. Even new construction has issues, believe it or not. You may see something you don't want there, and it's a brand new home. So hope this video kind of helps you guys out as far as like high interest rates, the market bubble going to burst, as a lot of people say. I personally see it as a plateau at this point. There's still inventory. There's still a lot of buyers. You just have to be smart on what you want to buy and just think with your mind and not so much with your heart. A lot of downfall people have is they use their emotions and buy things off emotions, which sometimes, as we know, isn't the good thing. Other than that, before I wrap this out, how could people follow you if they have any questions, phone number, social?
Absolutely. So it's Jared Campbell. I can be found on Instagram at Loans by Campbell, as well as Facebook. And, my phone number is 954-649-0020. I'm always here to help. I work after hours and weekends, and I'm here just to answer questions. So I'd love to work with you. I love working with Noel. So anyone that he's working with, I'm going to be working with. So I look forward to that.
And I get this a lot. Do Your Mortgage Guy works anywhere in Florida, or you only basically cover in
the whole state of Florida?
Perfect. So there you have it, guys. I will leave his information, his links as well in the description below. As always, if you enjoy what you see, please smash a like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Thank you.